Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. Welcome, everyone, to our latest video where we'll be exploring VP-94. VP-94 Crawfishers was a patrol squadron of the U.S. Navy Reserve. Originally established on 1 November 1970 at NAS Belle Chase, Louisiana, it was disestablished in September 2006. It was the second squadron to be designated VP-94. The first VP-94 was redesignated VP-94 on 1 October 1944. Get ready for a thought-provoking discussion as we delve into operational history and its impact on our understanding. VP-94 was initially established on 1 November 1970 at NAS Belle Chase as a Naval Air Reserve land-based patrol squadron flying 12 SPF Neptunes. VP-94 was formed from VP-821 and VP-822, both established in 1965. These squadrons were redesignated VPX and VPX in May 1968 and were combined in November 1970 to form VP-94. The new squadron came under the operational and administrative control of the Commander, Naval Air Reserve Force. VP-94 was established as a result of a major reorganization of the Naval Air Reserve that took place in mid-1970. Under the Reserve Force Squadron concept, 12 land-based Naval Reserve Patrol Squadrons were formed and structured along the lines of regular Navy squadrons with nearly identical organization and manning levels. Under the concept, there were 12 VP squadrons divided between two commands, CONFAIRESWINGLANT and CONFAIRESWINGPAC. These two commands came under the control of one central authority, Commander Naval Air Reserve. In March 1989, the Department of Defense organized Operation Hat Trick 3, an exercise employing the efforts of several reserve patrol squadrons, staging at Roosevelt Roads Naval Station, Puerto Rico. This operation, the largest drug interdiction operation using reserve forces to date, resulted in the capture of a record number of narcotics-carrying vessels and aircraft. After the success of this operation, Atlantic Reserve Patrol Squadrons routinely devoted a portion of their 2-week ACDUTRA time each year on drug interdiction patrols with the United States Coast Guard based out of NS Roosevelt Roads and NAS Key West. Florida Reserve and active duty Navy patrol squadrons had previously assisted the Coast Guard in drug interdiction flights in the Caribbean area since 1985. On to January 1993, VP-94 was assigned to CTF 67.1 at NAS Sigonella, Sicily, and CTF 67.2 at Naval Base Rota, Spain, in support of Adriatic Sea embargo flights for Operation Maritime Guard against the former Republic of Yugoslavia. These were armed flights carrying Harpoon anti-ship missiles. The missions were flown in support of UN operations to enforce the ceasefire between warring factions of Bosnia, Serbia and Croatia and to prevent outside factions from providing resupply by sea. From June-July 1993, the squadron supplied detachments for Operation Sharp Guard in support of UN operations. This concept of separate detachment deployments, rather than entire unit deployments, became known as Flexible Detachment Operations, or DIT-Ops. This form of deployment provided the maximum amount of interoperability between USN and USNR forward deployed forces, while supporting real operations and not just training flights for the reserves. Reserve DIT-Ops also served as a much-needed supplement to the active duty patrol squadrons in an era of post-Cold War cutbacks. In October 1993, a DIT-Ops deployment was conducted to NS Roosevelt Roads to provide support for operations Whole Democracy and Able Mariner, the UN-sanctioned embargo of Haiti. VP-94 was one of 13 Reserve Patrol Squadrons assigned to Reserve Patrol Wing Atlantic RESPATWINGLANT and Reserve Patrol Wing Pacific Patrol Wing FOUR Pat Wing 4 under the operational control of Naval Air Reserve Force NAVAIRESFOR, later redesignated as Naval Air Force Reserve NAVAIRES. all Naval Reserve Force squadrons, patrol, fighter, fighter attack, etc., are colloquially referred to as Reserve Force Squadrons, or RESFORONS, staffed by a combination of full-time active duty training and administration of the Reserve Full-Time Support TORFs and traditional part-time Selected Reserve SELRES personnel. TORFs personnel nominally comprised approximately 33% of these squadrons manning and SELRES approximately 67%. The squadron's part-time personnel, especially the aircrews, were required and funded to perform far more than the typical 1 weekend a month and 2 weeks a year of duty, with many averaging 120 or more man-days of military duty annually. Following the demise of the Soviet Union and the reduction in Russian naval activity and the perceived peace dividend of the mid-years, much of the U.S. Navy's P-3 patrol aircraft fleet was subjected to budgetary reductions. In the case of the active duty P-3 fleet, the entire patrol aviation BP community was reduced by 50%, going from 24 deployable PIC fleet squadrons and 2 fleet replacement squadrons to 12 deployable PIC fleet squadrons and 1 single-site fleet replacement squadron. The reserve VP community of 13 PUB and PIC squadrons was subjected to more drastic reductions. VP-94 was one of 11 reserve VP squadrons disestablished to cut costs. Eliminated were all squadrons operating PUB aircraft, which were retired to AMARC, and eliminating all but 2 reserve PIC squadrons, transferring the bulk of the reserve PIC aircraft to the regular Navy at the principal active duty P-3 bases. VP-94 was disestablished in September 2006. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of aircraft assignment as we dive into its profound implications. The squadron first received the following aircraft on the dates Schaumspnet in November 1970, PR Orion October 1976, PUB TACNAV MOD Orion September 1984, PIC Orion September 1994. I love interacting with my viewers, so leave me a comment and I'll do my best to respond.